Want a bigger tax refund? Don't miss these new tax benefits when filing your tax return. Not every online service or CPA catches these, so make sure you ask and see if you qualify. Also, if you're a senior, the last one only applies to you. First, a deduction for tip income. If you made money from tips, you likely can deduct up to $25,000 of this on your tax return. You also need to be in a field that has historically received tips. The IRS has a website listing out what jobs actually qualify. Also, they have to be voluntary tips. So forced gratuity at a restaurant technically doesn't count. Second, overtime pay. You can deduct overtime pay of up to $12,500 for a single person or $25,000 for a married couple on your tax return. Of note, only the half of time and a half of overtime pay counts for this. So you likely need to work a lot of overtime to max out this deduction. Third, auto loan interest. You can deduct up to $10,000 of auto loan interest if you bought a new vehicle in 2025 and use it for personal use, and only if the car was finally assembled in the United States. This does have some low income limits, so double check with your accountant. Fourth, the SALT deduction. You used to only be able to deduct $10,000 of state and property taxes. That has now increased to $40,000. Of note, this typically only applies to people in high tax states or if you are part of the 10% of Americans who actually itemize their deductions. But do not fret, the standard deduction, which is the free deduction everyone is eligible for, increased for 2025. Fifth, an increase in the child tax credit. There's a good chance you won't forget to tell TurboTax or your CPA that you had a new child, but it's especially important this year not to forget because the child tax credit was raised from $2,000 to $2,200. Tax credits are more rare, but often more powerful than regular deductions, so don't miss it. And sixth, the enhanced senior deduction. If you're age 65 or older, right? This is for the old people in the chat here. 65 or older at the end of 2025, you may qualify for an additional standard deduction. You already had an extra senior deduction, but there's an additional $6,000 deduction that you may be eligible for. With this increase, the total 65 plus deduction is $22,750 for singles or $46,700 for couples. Income limits do apply, so double check that with your CPA. Well, there you have it. Make sure to check with your tax accountant on any of these because this video is for educational purposes only, and there's always caveats and unique circumstances.